Did you know that just by watching the videos on this channel, you are making the world a better place? That's right. Every video you watch helps bring high-speed internet connectivity to remote communities around the world that are in need. Every view, like, comment, and share counts towards making our goal of worldwide internet connectivity a reality. So please join us in our mission to connect the world by sharing our content and becoming a subscriber today, because together we can make the world a better place. You are not going to want to miss this. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that is often overlooked and routinely done wrong in TFSAs and other registered accounts for many Canadians: the difference between designating a successor holder and a beneficiary. Let's jump in. Hi, I'm Joe Macek, Portfolio Manager and Investment Advisor for IA Private Wealth. Welcome back to my channel, Investing Made Simple, where you can find the most trusted information on building your net worth. Today, we are going to dive into the important difference between a successor holder and a beneficiary for your registered accounts, specifically when it comes to your TFSA. Many people are making a mistake in how they designate these roles on their TFSA paperwork. So if you're not sure who you've listed and how they're listed, make sure to watch this video to the end and double check your TFSA accounts. But as always, before we get too deep into the video, I'd like to go through my usual disclaimer. And if you have any questions surrounding your investments on a personal level, it's best if you would reach out to me on a one-on-one basis. My contact details are now provided in the description below. I bring over 24 years of experience in investing and financial concepts, provide fully licensed and trusted investment guidance, and would love to hear from you. Okay, now back to our video. The one question we mainly get when it comes to naming beneficiaries for your RSPs and TFSAs is, who can be a successor holder? The answer is simple. Only a spouse or common law partner can qualify to be a successor holder. Other family members like a brother, parent, sibling, or cousin cannot be named as successor holders. They can only be listed as beneficiaries. So if you're thinking about someone other than your spouse or common law partner to leave your TFSA to, they can still be designated as a beneficiary, just not as a successor holder. So why is this so important? Well, if you're married or in a common law relationship, it's absolutely critical to appoint your spouse or common law partner as the successor holder instead of a beneficiary. There are some significant benefits to doing this versus major complications that can arise if you designate them as a beneficiary. For example, if you choose your spouse or common law partner as the successor holder and you pass away, they can essentially take over your TFSA account with very little issue. This means that they inherit your TFSA along with the contribution room, and it essentially gives them two choices. They can either keep both accounts open and separate or opt for a simpler approach by merging the two TFSAs together. Let's use an example to make this clear. Picture Alex and Sarah, each with a fully maxed out TFSA at $88,000. Now, if Sarah selects Alex as the successor holder and she passes away, Alex now inherits her TFSA and takes control of it. He now has the option to either keep both TFSA accounts open and separate, or for simplicity, merge her TFSA into his, even if he has no available contribution room left. So the two $88,000 TFSAs can remain $88,000 each for Alex, or he can combine them to make one large $176,000 TFSA. This smooth process enables Alex to assume ownership of Sarah's TFSA account right away and pretty much seamlessly right after her passing. And as I said before, he has the option to combine them into one account if he so chooses, generally with no issues. So again, in naming your spouse as a successor holder, it enables the surviving spouse to potentially have two TFSA accounts, or they can merge them into one account. More importantly, the TFSA assets transfer outside of probate, eliminating probate fees. Now let's say that Alex decides to keep both the TFSA accounts separate and Sarah's original TFSA grows from $88,000 to say $100,000. A year or two later, he can still combine them without worrying about taxes and contribution room. Being the owner of both TFSA accounts, this gives him the freedom to withdraw funds or merge the accounts as they grow, whatever he wants to do, providing strategic financial options. Now let's say your spouse made a mistake and chose you as the beneficiary designee designation for their TFSA instead of designating you the successor holder to receive their TFSA in case something happens to them? Well, when you do this, when you select a spouse or a common law partner as a beneficiary, to be fair, there are some similarities to the successor holder designation. One is that the TFSA does not have to go through probate after the passing of your common law partner, and this is great news as it means there's no additional probate fees to be paid at death. And another similarity is that you can still technically take control of her TFSA and merge that TFSA with your own TFSA after they're gone. But this is where the similarities end and the complications begin. Let's say that your partner passes away, designating you as the beneficiary. The rollover process must happen within a specific time frame now. That's right, you have a deadline. You only have until December 31st of the following year after your spouse or common law passes away to carry out the rollover. For example, if your spouse passes away in August 2021, you now only have until December 31st, 2022 to combine their TFSA into yours. Here's another thing that you have to watch out for. If you want to now combine the TFSA accounts, you have to fill out additional paperwork in the form of a document called the RC-240. And believe me, it's not exactly straightforward. There are specific steps to follow and deadlines that you will need to adhere to. And here is a quick look at the additional onerous steps you will need to do if you make this mistake on your TFSA. These are additional steps you would not have had to take had you just designated your partner as a successor holder in the first place. When we look over the document, it says before filling out this form, you have to obtain from the executor of the estate or the TFSA issuer the fair market value at the time of the holder's death of the TFSA from which the survivor payment was received. In short, you're going to have to know exactly what the TFSA was worth when your spouse or common law partner passed. Why? We're going to cover this in a moment as it's very different from the successor holder designation. The document also goes on to say that if the deceased holder had more than one TFSA, you now have to fill out a separate form to designate the contribution of each amount received from any of the deceased holder's TFSAs as an exempt contribution. Meaning if they have 3 TFSAs, you are now filling out this paperwork 3 times. And not only that, you will have to reach out to all 3 financial institutions to get the final values of each. This essentially could triple your already needless workload. It also goes on to stipulate that you have to send the forms filled out to us within 30 days after the date of the contribution listed in Part 5 is made, or at a later time as permitted by the minister to these addresses. And then it gives you a couple of locations in Canada, Sudbury and Winnipeg. And then to top it all off, hopefully you don't make any further mistakes filling out the paperwork, because we all know that Revenue Canada doesn't exactly work too quickly when it comes to resolving issues. So this process could take some time to get it right and to get it completed. Now let's circle back to that other point that CRA wants covered. Why do you have to get the executor or financial institution to get you the fair market value of the TFSA on the day of passing? Well, there it is, yet one more complication. When you're in the process of transferring your former spouse's TFSA to your own TFSA through the Form RC-240 route, it's critical to note that there could be a key restriction in your ability to transfer it over. The fair market value of the transfer in cannot exceed the amount that was in the TFSA at the time of your spouse's passing, meaning that if the amount of the TFSA went up in between the time of the passing and the rollover, it's likely to be a taxable event. So let's use an example to make it clear. If your spouse passes away in August of 2021 and the TFSA is worth $50,000 at that time, that $50,000 amount is now the maximum limit that you can transfer into your own TFSA. If the TFSA grows in value, say $5,000 in the following months to a total of $55,000 by March of 2022, you can only transfer the original $50,000 without facing any tax consequences. Any extra growth beyond that initial amount is considered taxable as a capital gain. So this is very different than if you would have used the successor holder designation, where the entire amount can be transferred tax-free, even if it grows substantially after your partner passes away. Now, when you add it all up, designating your spouse or common law partner as a successor holder from the start should help you immensely by simplifying the entire process. You virtually eliminate the need for any additional intricate steps involved, as well as removing any potential restrictions in the TFSA rollover process. By choosing the successor holder option, you help ensure a seamless transition of the TFSA account into yours by not having to deal with extra paperwork like an RC-240. And I quote, "You do not have to fill out this form if you have become the successor holder of the TFSA of your deceased spouse or common law partner." Making this change isn't just about money. It's a smart move to simplify things for you and your family if something unexpected happens. Just imagine yourself in this situation for a moment. Your spouse passes away. Do you really want to deal with the extra stress of CRA deadlines, paperwork, and ensuring you dot every I and cross every T when you're already going through an extremely tough time of losing someone close to you? Probably not, especially when there's an easier option available. Opting for your spouse or your partner as a successor holder right away sets the stage for a smoother TFSA rollover process during a challenging period. So how do you make sure you have the proper designation? Well, take a moment to verify your spouse or common law partner is your successor holder by checking with the financial institution where your TFSA accounts are held. Call them up, email them, and make sure. Triple check that the designation is accurate, and if not, don't worry. It's generally a very quick and easy process to request an update. Confirming this information with your financial institution ensures that you have the proper designation in place, providing you with peace of mind regarding the handling of your TFSA accounts in the future. This simple tweak can spare you from significant challenges, save money, and reduce taxes in the long haul. It's a crucial step for effective estate planning and ensures a smoother paperwork process for the surviving spouse in the unfortunate event of your passing. Did you know that there are many studies suggesting that clients with an investment advisor or portfolio manager tend to be less anxious, happier, and more confident, often resulting in a net worth up to 3 times higher than those who manage their investments alone? Do you want to know how to choose a good financial advisor? Well, click here to learn the amazing differences between advisors. We'll see you soon.